I believe that if you explain to them what they're saying, a lot of them probably don't even realize what that they're swearing about.
A new policy at a Fargo middle school could easily prompt some discussion at your Thanksgiving dinner table tomorrow. Fargo's Discovery Middle School is trying to deal with a growing problem, one that could also be happening at your child's school: swearing. Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer explains what's happening at Discovery.
I believe that we all do a little swearing when we're, maybe hit your hand with the hammer or something.
We all know them, and many of us say them, swear words. But what about in the classroom?
I'd put them in timeout or something and talk to them and make sure they don't ever do it again.
Discovery Middle School has some new policies that are hoping to stop students from swearing at school. If a student mistakenly swears, they will be sent to the office. But if they swear at a staff member, they'll have to go home. And the jury is out on if this is good or bad.
I think it's right, and children shouldn't be swearing.
I don't think that's a very good idea. I think more of teaching them a lesson of what they're saying.
Sharon Whitebear has a son who has been in the Fargo School District since he was 3. She says he doesn't swear. She thinks the school should better educate the students on the meaning of the words.
We have jobs. Yeah, we're adults, but we don't get sent home for swearing. They're learning, that's their job. I always tell my son that's your job when you went to school.
But one thing these two can agree on is that children seem to be swearing at a younger age. They think they know where the kids are getting it from.
More things can be shown on television now than, there was censored things that were very simple. Now you can say it anywhere, on the radio, in the music, and they just think it's appropriate, I think.
We reached out to some schools in the FM area. West Fargo and Moorhead both do not have any swearing policies. They do have, though, consequences for any disrespectful or discriminatory language. And here at Discovery Middle School, the policies will go into effect on Monday. In the FM area, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
This swearing policy includes the use of racial epithets. The school says that certain words and labels are acceptable outside of the classroom, but they'll get booted if they use them in school. Parents with any questions are being told to contact the main office at Discovery Middle School. If you have an issue in your community, call us on our whistleblower hotline at 701-237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will be on the case and then go to work to expose the truth. Coming up after weather, an ex-priest accused of sexually molesting 2 teenage boys in 2 Fargo area churches in the mid-90s will finally be flown back to the U.S. to face the charges. Plus, have you ever heard of Blackout Wednesday? Why people are choosing today to get boozy. But first, Robert, we needed to bundle up today, but will we need to keep those extra layers for our Thanksgiving weekend?
At least for the overnight hours and early on Thanksgiving, we will see some chilly temperatures out there, and a live look outside on the Coronado.com Valley Skycam, part of the Storm Team Skycam network. Traffic moving along nicely out there at this hour, and some nice conditions driving-wise across much of the region. We've got a few low clouds that have made their way on into the region. 27 feels like 27. Winds very light after a breezy day today. A touch cooler over in Moorhead with a current temperature of 23. 16 at this hour in Cavalier, 19 in Roseau and Baudette, 17 in Bemidji, 27 not only here in Fargo, but also over in Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, and up in Grand Forks. Winds very light. They're going to remain very light as we head through the overnight hours tonight. And as we head towards tomorrow morning, they'll pick up out of the south, and we'll see southerly winds tomorrow, 5 to 15 miles per hour with some occasional stronger gusts. Wind chills as cold as 13 in Langdon, 14 in Valley City, 20 in Gwinner. I mentioned the low clouds, and there they are. They're sagging off towards the south, and we'll have a bit of cloudiness around as we head through tonight. Some partly cloudy skies from time to time. These clouds will thin on out by tomorrow morning, and tomorrow we'll see a mix of clouds and sunshine. Underneath what clouds we do have, no precipitation showing up on the radar, but wouldn't be surprised to see an isolated, very light flurry from time to time. The steadier snow that we saw earlier today across the Northern Valley, that is pushed well off towards the east, and again, still some slick spots remaining up in the northern portions of the valley, so keep that in mind if traveling this evening, tonight, or even early on Thanksgiving. Across the national map, rain across the western portions of the U.S. That area of snow off to our east continues to move on away. Some rain and snow exiting Maine, and a lot of rain getting ready to make its way on into the peninsula of Florida. For us tonight, again, light winds, a few clouds around from time to time, low temperatures into the teens and 20s. As we head through tomorrow morning, again, southerly winds tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sunshine out there, and some warmer temperatures. Going to warm up into the 30s and 40s over much of the area. Could even see some low 50s in our southwestern counties, and may hang on to some upper 20s across parts of northern Minnesota. A bit more cloudiness as we head through the day, and later on tomorrow night and into early Friday, a chance for a few rain showers. Here in Fargo, we'll start off on a chilly note with temperatures into the upper teens. By lunchtime, though, warming up nicely into the mid-30s with a southerly breeze out there. And we're going to top it on out into the mid-40s with southerly breezes continuing. Picture of the day from this morning, a gorgeous, sensational sunrise right here in Fargo. Thanks so much to Doris for sending that, and we're going to use that as the backdrop to our 7-day forecast. Thanksgiving Day is looking good, mid-40s. Friday, outside of a few early rain showers, it's looking even better with some low 50s, but it will be a bit on the windy side Friday afternoon and evening. A brief cool down Saturday into the 30s. Back into the 40s on Sunday and Monday. Some rain showers move in late Monday, ending as snow showers Monday night and early Tuesday.
So travel really not looking too bad for tonight, early tomorrow morning.
Not too bad outside of those few slick spots up north. Everything is looking good.
Good. Thanks, Robert.
You got it.
An ex-priest accused of molesting 2 young boys in Fargo churches in the 90s will finally be flown back to the U.S. to face the charges after spending nearly 2 decades hiding in the Philippines. The Philippine government is preparing to extradite Fernando Sayasaya after he was arrested over the weekend. His return date is still unknown, but Cass County State's Attorney Birch Burdick says when he does come back to Fargo, he'll get off easier than he would if the charges were filed today.
In the ensuing years from when we charged it in 2002 to now, this kind of activity has been elevated as a higher level crime than it was back then.
The Cass County State's Attorney would not go into detail about the victims, but says he'll use the appropriate witnesses to support all of the charges. The Grand Forks Police Department wants you to know about a high-risk sex offender living in our area. They say Kelly Tanner is now living at 1002 University Avenue No. 2. Tanner is a level 3 offender, and he was convicted of gross sexual imposition in 2003 and sexual assault in 2008. Both cases involved underage victims. Tanner must register for a lifetime in North Dakota. Fergus Falls police are still investigating a shooting that left 2 people with gunshot wounds, but they say they now have a person of interest in custody. Police were called out to an incident at a downtown apartment around 4 o'clock yesterday morning. Investigators found signs of a shooting and then later found a victim with a gunshot wound at the local hospital. That victim was taken to Fargo with injuries that weren't severe. And later that same morning, authorities found a man walking south of Fergus Falls with blood on his clothes who fit the description of a person involved. He also had a gunshot wound. No names have been released, but investigators say the 2 victims did know each other. Toxic chemicals polluting the air are now costing one of the biggest employers in the region. American Crystal has been hit with a $135,000 fine for high levels of hydrogen sulfide in the air. Now, that's the stuff that smells like rotten eggs, and too much exposure can lead to health concerns. Their plants in East Grand Forks and Crookston were cited, and officials say the levels of pollution weren't dangerous. And American Crystal is investing millions into their facilities to fix the problem by 2019. And if you want more stories like that one, remember to like Valley News Live on Facebook. You'll be able to follow all the latest news, weather, and breaking news updates anytime on your feed. Just search Valley News Live, like our page, and you'll stay informed throughout the entire day.
And then when you wake up the next day, if you're feeling a little hungover, you can enjoy a nice meal.
Well, we've all heard of Black Friday, but what about Blackout Wednesday? It's a day that comes with many names, including Drunksgiving. And it's tonight, the day before Thanksgiving, when many will crack open a bottle or two or hit the bars as friends and family come back together to celebrate the holiday. Valley News Team's Molly Casey spoke with a local liquor store about how it impacts their bottom line and if local residents know about this holiday.
I'm here to get wine.
The doors of the Bottle Barn started opening faster and faster as customers shuffled through to pick up wine, beer, and more for the Thanksgiving holiday. But there's also a reason many stocked up tonight.
Drinksgiving.
Alicia Jacobson is the manager of the Bottle Barn and says tonight is all about being social.
People like to drink when their family comes over, and everybody likes to try new stuff, and it's a good time to drink.
And residents agree.
It's time to see your old friends that you haven't seen or family that you see once in a blue moon.
Your family's home for the holidays, so you get to hang out and spend good time with your family.
But there may be a bigger reason why liquor stores will be busier than usual.
We're closed tomorrow, so everybody has to get all their booze for today.
Liquor stores in North Dakota are required to be closed on major winter holidays like Thanksgiving, but it gives the stores a bump in sales.
Well, it's compacted 2 days into one, so it's a huge jump for us in one day.
And there's one item that will sell more than others.
They're looking for a lot of good wine to go with their meals. They ask a lot of questions about wines and what goes with what and what they should be drinking, what they should have.
And while not everyone may know what Drinksgiving is,
I've heard like Friendsgiving, but
they understand the thought behind it.
no one goes to work tomorrow, and I have to deal with family tomorrow.
From Fargo, Molly Casey, Valley News Live.
Many liquor stores in North Dakota will stay open until the 2 a.m. close time, but we want to remind those celebrating to drive responsibly. North Dakota law enforcement will be out helping you to remember to drive safely with checkpoints scheduled for a large portion of the valley. The Highway Patrol, along with the sheriff's departments from a number of counties, will be conducting a traffic and alcohol saturation test tonight. 20 officers will take place from 4 p.m. until midnight. The saturation area includes 125 miles of Interstate 29 and 158 miles of U.S. Highway 2. If you have a solid plan on how to get the medical marijuana system up and running in North Dakota, the State Health Department wants to hear from you. The department is accepting requests for proposals for a system to develop, maintain, and monitor the state's medical marijuana program. That chosen system also will help in registering distribution centers and patient card holders. Voters approved medical marijuana back in November of 2016. However, the drug isn't expected to be available to patients for another year. Requests are being accepted through December 27th at 3 o'clock. If you want more information, go to the State Office of Management and Budget website. We've got a link attached to this story on valleynewslive.com. Former USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar pleads guilty to sexual assault. That's still